All right, so the pandemic hits, and then all of a sudden you're in St. Louis living at home with your parents, and it kind of forces you to confront things. What was that process like?
I had a show on E! Set to debut in April of 2020 that was in the process of being made. I had done a pilot. I was also on the road doing my first theater tour. I was doing my Sirius XM show 4 days a week.
All of a sudden you're like killing it.
I'm killing it, and I have this show coming out on E! And it is, I don't have enough time to make it what I want to make it, but it has to go to air, and it's not what I want it to be, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't even know if I want to do another show. I remember in like March, I remember thinking, I wish something could happen that this show would not come out. And then the COVID happened. I was like, yes, tour canceled, get to go home and be with my parents and just hang out. I was like loving it. And then after like a week, I think it became like, oh no, like regardless of TV shows being canceled or, you know, podcasts not being a thing, I was always gonna have stand up. But then it was like, oh my God, that's not here, not right now. And that, like, what else do I do? So I think I panicked. COVID was definitely like, as it was for all of us, a time of like, what am I doing? Why am I living with my parents? I'm 36. This is like, I'm a loser, but I actually like it. I don't want to move out. I'm like sad when this all ends. So like one day my dad was like gone and I like picked up guitar because otherwise he'd be like, well, let me see you, let me show you something. And then I would be like, Dad, I'm not as good as you. And I'd be like, I can't stand it, and run to my room like a child, like I used to do. I think my mom was watching TV in the next room, like Housewives or something, and I was just like strumming. And I think she said, that sounds good. And I was like, that's all I needed to be like, okay. And so then I just never stopped playing.
And when she was living here, practicing for, you know, a couple hours a day, she'd be in my office, you know, just practicing the same song over and over again. And Julie and I would sometimes like roll our eyes like, God, we have to hear that song again, Jesus. So, but that's what it takes. It takes, you know, repetition.
I was like, oh, this isn't, you gotta practice. Like, I don't know why I just thought like I wanted to be a, you know, little virtuoso, but it was really Taylor Swift's Folklore album. And honestly, Folklore, her stripping away the pop star image, the hair and makeup, the costume, being in a field, doing a more indie, not making these like, not trying to please people and give them what they want and do what she wanted to do, kind of that album helped me go, what's my version of Folklore? Like, what's me not trying to give my fans what they want or the industry what they want? What wants to come out of me right now? And it happened to be Folklore, the covers in my dad's office.
So you genuinely want to be a professional musician now?
Yes. It's embarrassing to say.
When did that start to become a thing?
8th grade. I remember the first time that I got asked seriously as a young adult, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I had to give it some thought. I remember writing down singer-songwriter, and I didn't even know what that was. I'd never written a song or anything. And I remember Mr. Herrig was like, stay after class, and I want to talk to you about it. And he was like, do you really want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And he was like, have you written anything? And I was like, I haven't. And he gave me all these CDs. He gave me like Amy Mann and Elvis Costello and all this stuff. I remember it was the first time, I didn't remember that until a couple years ago when I started wanting to do it again. And I was like, oh, I did want to do this forever. It was the dream. I want to move people the same way music moves me. Comedy definitely is a huge part of my life, but if I had to give up comedy or music, consuming, like, I'm talking all TV shows, anything laughter or music, I would easily give up comedy first.
So what's the likelihood you get to a place in the not too distant future where music consumes the majority of your professional endeavors?
I don't have kids. I don't think I want kids. And so I'm kind of like, what if I finance my dumb little dream like I'm my own kid so I can start over?
I wanna miss my flight. I feel so all alone out on the road. Won't you welcome me home?
Like, I think she can be a good singer-songwriter. I think the idea of it being as big of a career as her stand-up, you know, I would love for it to happen. The art form and putting yourself out there, I respect it 1,000,000%, and I'm so proud of her for like trying to do a different lane, because a lot of people would be too afraid to do something like that.
You're gonna look stupid, but I was on Dancing with the Stars and I got voted off first. So that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it's the most humiliating thing that has ever happened to me, ever will happen to me.
You said it was the worst day of your...
It was the worst day of my career.
Honestly.
Yeah, it was the worst feeling I've ever had. Ultimately the best,
Yeah.
really, because it taught me that if I can survive that, embarrassment and no one cares and it doesn't affect my life. If I could get through that, then I can do anything. Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Embarrass yourself.
Okay, so what are the plans then to really attack this full force?
I think I want to create a different name, like a different version of myself, like a, Sasha Fierce, Ziggy Stardust.
Why?
I don't know. I bought some wigs on Amazon. I don't know. I'm going to try out, because for me, singing and songwriting is really tough, or songwriting is tough, because it's so sincere, it's embarrassing, it's poetry. I write jokes. Like, I'm always going to win with a joke because I have the upper hand. I have the final say. A song is so vulnerable. It freaks me out. I cannot write songs as Nikki Glaser. It makes me cringe. It makes other people cringe. I'm gonna get made fun of regardless, but I think for me to be as comfortable with myself to pursue this, I'm going to have to create a new persona. Like, I'm transitioning to a singer. I'm gonna create a new identity.
Is there a point in the not too distant future where you're gonna stop everything on the comedy front?
No, I think I'll always do comedy. And the great thing is that when you become a singer-songwriter, whenever I go see bands, I love when they talk in between songs. Everything they say is funny. But I would like to become a famous singer-songwriter without anyone knowing it's me. And then after I achieve success in that way, be like, and it was me the whole time. Because I feel like any success I achieve in any other way is going to be on the heels of the nepotism of my own self. It shouldn't happen right away. For those songs to be good enough for me to travel around to the kind of theaters I'm doing now, people would be wrong to go see that, because I'm going to be bad. You cannot be good at something when you start out. So I am giving myself 7 years to win a Grammy or be invited to the Grammys. Let me just aim low. And I might give up on this dream right away, but my plan is to train with a vocal coach all the time, every day, to just be the best singer I can be, because I have an instrument. I just always thought my voice was my voice, and you either got it or you don't. But now I know that your voice is an instrument that you can learn how to play.